today we take a look at a Speedway rider who was perhaps one of the most beloved riders in Speedway history and equally one of the most hated riders in history. His name is Kenny Carter. Kenny, as you know, was a top-tier Speedway rider. He was good. He could ride with just about any Speedway rider of his day, and he could beat them too. In all the Speedway history, there's going to be never another Kenny Carter. He was arrogant, he was brash, he was loud, he was just a crazy dude. He was really nuts, and he was the Yorkshire boy with the boyish looks. Wherever Kenny raced, he was a huge box office success. I mean, everybody came from the visitors, the home track, to see who? Kenny Carter. He was truly an amazing draw. Kenny was just loved by the local fans, and he really disliked his competitors. He was very competitive, and he didn't like anyone that would pose him competition, except for Kelly Moran. He liked Kelly Moran. Kelly Moran was a good rider, but who didn't like Kelly Moran? One of my good friends and former Bellevue Ace racers, Larry Costa, he actually knew Kenny Carter, and I asked him, I said, hey, was he bad to you? Because he hung out with Kenny Carter. And he said, no, Kenny was cool. He was nice to me. And I said, really? I didn't know that. And he said, Kenny just didn't like the people who posed a threat. But Larry said I was no threat to Kenny, so he was cool with me. Kenny just hated to lose. He was a fierce competitor. Anything he lost at, he was very angry. Even if Kenny had some friends over his house to play a game of Monopoly or snooker, and Kenny lost, he would be outrageously mad. He was just a poor loser. Many wonder why Kenny was so competitive. Being competitive is good, that's what makes a world champion, but Kenny was overly competitive. Being a good sport, a gracious loser, is part of the nature of being competitive. Nobody's going to win all the time, that's just a fact. If you race, you're going to lose. If you play Monopoly, you're going to lose. Everything you're going to lose. So we have to learn how to be gracious losers as well as gracious winners. He was on the brink of a world championship. He was liked by the fans. He was a great rider. He was the British and the Halifax boy, the glamour boy. He was really good. And then some things started to happen. He had some severe tragic experiences in his young life that definitely molded him, possibly gave him some demons in his life. For example, his mother and his brother were involved in a very serious car accident. His brother died instantly, and his mother was handicapped for life, and she never was the same after she was handicapped. Kenny probably was a mama's boy. I was a mama's boy, so I know exactly what that's like, and it's so tragic if something like that happened to your mother. And Kenny said that when his mother had this accident, she was never the same. She was unhappy, she was depressed. She just was a shadow of what she used to be, and it really affected Kenny. And ultimately, Kenny's mother committed suicide. So he had lost his brother in a car accident and his mother through a suicide. So you have the death of the younger brother in a car accident. You have the mother who eventually committed suicide, raised by a father who was a strict authoritative, and he was just a tough dude, and it really affected him. And just some people wonder if Kenny Carter was doomed from the start. Very few people knew who Kenny Carter was. They didn't know what really made him tick. He was just a different kind of character. Even his own teammates really didn't like him that much. Only a few people did. Kenny Carter, I'm sure, was a really nice guy. He just had a lot of these demons in his life. It's very easy to judge him, which I understand. But nobody really knows what was going on inside of the mind of Kenny Carter. There were many devastating events in Kenny's life, and it was hard to understand exactly what happened. Sadly, on May 21st, 1986, Kenny and his wife were hanging out in their moorland house, their estate over Halifax. It was a very beautiful place. Kenny mistakenly accused his wife of adultery and got a fit of rage, and he pulled out a gun and he shot his wife and he shot himself. Very tragic, a double homicide, leaving his children orphaned. That would drive some to think, why would he do such a cowardly and unthinkable act? We may never know exactly why this happened, but it was a tragic situation, one that the Speedway world has never got over all these years later. And we wish the Carter family, the whole family of the Carters, nothing but the best. A sad ending to Halifax's #1 guy. He was on the brink of a World Championship, and it all ended like that. Kenny Carter was haunted by the demons of his past.